Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Bianca.
And I'm Diana.
And we don't have a name, but it's going to come to us. And once it does, we will let you know. So we wanted to start this podcast because we recently got into bodybuilding, into competing, and we just wanted to share our experience with everyone. We want to share our journey.
Yeah, so we just felt that as we were posting our stories on Instagram and our journey from when we started, there were girls and some guys that asked us questions like why we started or how we kept going, how we did cardio when we didn't want to do it. And I feel like on social media, there's only so much you can share and like so much you can post. You can't really elaborate on certain topics unless you do lives, but like not a lot of people want to watch lives nowadays. So I figured that the best way to share our information and like even our workouts would be just through posting our stuff on YouTube. Yeah, hope you grow with us. So Bianca, why'd you start? Why'd you compete?
For me, it's been a long process. I thought about competing like way back in the day when I had first got into the gym. I just wanted to get healthy at first because I was
So where were you in your life? Like how old were you?
I think I was like 20.
And then that's kind of when you started getting interested in like fitness?
In high school, I was a little athletic, but I would just do like sports here and there, but nothing too serious. Like I was never like on a diet or anything like that. I just like played for fun.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was around 20 years old, and then I started really getting serious with my fitness. I wanted to get healthier, wanted to lose a couple pounds. And then someone introduced me to like actual bodybuilding. They showed me like videos. They were like, your physique kind of looks like your structure would be perfect for like bikini and this and that, but I just didn't really know too much about it. I just liked, at that point, I liked like the glitz and glamour of it.
Okay, like being on stage.
Yes,
and the
bikini, like, the makeup, all that. I was like attracted to that.
Okay.
But I didn't really take it serious. I was okay, yeah, I'll start doing it. Like, let me just first get a routine with like working out and eating healthy. But then I got pregnant, so that those plans just went away. Last year, I just really wanted to commit to myself, to my goals, to just like all around, just like be like a better me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to make it a priority.
Okay. And what happened in that time that you were like, now I'm doing it? Because there's
or what got me to that point?
Yeah, because for some people, like it takes a low point, it takes a breakup, it takes something, right? A scare. What got you there this time around? Because before you were already healthy, but you weren't fully committed. So why did you fully commit this time? Because you killed it too. So what was different this time?
I don't know. I think just a lot of things were happening in my life, like
turning 30.
Yes, I was gonna turn 30.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna turn 30. I turned 30 last year in September. So I think that like getting older, and I'm a mom, and like a lot of my goals that I've had for myself, not all of them have been accomplished. So I think I was at a point mentally where I felt like I wasn't really accomplishing anything. Even though I have accomplished things, I just felt like I really...
You have higher standards for yourself.
Yeah, I guess. Like I just feel a lot of the times, like when I talk to myself, I just feel like, I feel like I have a lot of potential to do like so many things, and I just need to get it all in order, like get it all organized so that I could just accomplish it. And there was just this spark in me that I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. And I was getting a little chubby, so I'm like, you know what, because the pandemic.
Now's the time.
Yeah, the pandemic. And I didn't step foot into the gym for 2 years. And prior to that, I was always in the gym, in and out, not consistent, but I was always in the gym. And for 2 years, I didn't go to the gym. So I felt, I'm not gonna say like depressed, kind of like a little low self-esteem, because I was always like in the gym.
Yeah.
And then now I was just like, you know what, I gotta get to it. I have to like do this for myself.
And what was that journey like as a mom? But like from when you started until like your first competition?
It was tough, but I did have help. So I think that plays a huge role. My mom was like the main one that helped me out when I couldn't drop Giselle off at school. Giselle's my daughter.
From training, because you had to go to training?
Okay. Yeah, because I like training in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes like if my cardio would take like a little bit longer, or if I took a little bit longer with my workout, I wouldn't be able to make it in time. So my mom helped me out with that, dropping her off, sometimes picking her up, because I used to actually commute to work. Now I work from home, so it's a little easier, but I used to commute. So if I didn't have time to go pick her up when I was stuck in traffic or at work, she would do it. Like, she just like really helped me out.
She's really your biggest support.
So I think having a support system definitely helps. It's still going to be stressful, but it was a little less stressful.
What was mealtime like? Because I'm sure that some moms struggle with like, well, my kid won't eat this, and I know that I have to only eat chicken and rice while I'm competing, which we already know is not true. But like, that's kind of the thought process of people that don't understand this world, or it used to be like that. Right now it's a little bit different, or it depends on your coach. So like, were you and your daughter able to bond over meals and over snacks? Because I know afterwards you guys posted such cute TikToks like, oh, we're trying this, and you tried it together, but like in that process, were you also able to bond?
Yeah. Yes, she started actually watching like bikini bodybuilding videos, on YouTube with me, like watching how they pose, and then she started posing all day long. So she kind of got into it with me as well. It seems like she has an interest in it too. So every time I would like weigh my food, she would be watching. She would want me to weigh hers. She wanted to eat kind of the same things that I was eating, or if I wanted to not cheat, but like if I wanted to bite or something, she would be like, "No, mom, your competition. You can't eat it." So she was a good supporter too. She helped me stay on track, and yeah, she loves it. She's all into it too.
So what was like the biggest thing you learned in your first competition? Like, for example, now that you're gonna get ready to do a second one, things that you know now that you didn't know then, right? Yeah. Like now you're like, it's different going into this one, because now we know what our bodies are capable of. Now we know like more of our macros, right? Like we aren't on this strict diet. I think the only strict time we have is what, the last 2-3 weeks?
2 weeks. Yeah, for me it was definitely the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was a little tough. Yeah, that was a little tough.
But, what was tough about that?
Because I was like literally only eating protein for 2 weeks, and it was just, I just wanted to eat already, because I wanted to get it over with, because I wanted to eat like my cookies and all of that.
And you were saving all these snacks that you were buying?
Because it was during like the holiday season, which was it's so hard for me, because I have such a big sweet tooth. Even though I would still be able to fit a cookie here and there in my macros. Closer to show, I obviously wasn't. So I was already at that point. I had been training for 7 months, so I was ready to eat like whatever I wanted. Well, I did learn macros throughout that time frame. Like really learn to like really lock it in, and like.
What did you used to do before you learned macros? Like, how did you watch what you ate?
I just tried to pick healthy choices. Like just healthy choices. In the first 2 months, I had a meal plan. Like I just ate the same thing for 2 months. And then my coach was like, "Okay, you got to count macros now." And at first I was like, "I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. I have to weigh everything, count this, it's not, I don't want to do it." But honestly, it took me, I'm not even going to lie, like a day or two
to figure it out.
Yeah, a day or two, and I would hit all of my numbers. Yeah. I think it's probably just because I would just put whatever would fit into a meal. Like I just made whatever up. And I think people think that you have to like, I don't know, well, this is what I thought, that you just had to have like a really good meal, like a really good.
What do you mean by good?
How to explain it? Like nice and
aesthetically
pleasing. Yeah.
Okay.
Aesthetically
so not necessarily like just chicken and rice and veggies, but like aesthetically pleasing, regardless of what it was.
Sauce, and like it's like really like a nice that you want to eat it, you know?
Yeah.
But for me, sometimes I just like put anything in there that would fit and that would taste good. Like I need sauce with my chicken, so whatever dressing would fit my macros, I would like put it all over my chicken. Like it didn't look good, but it tastes good to me and it fit my macros, so I ate it. Yeah, now I really like counting macros because it allows me, and it allows me to fit a cookie in there, you know, whatever I want.
Yes. How did you find Bo?
I found him because one of my aunts, her friend, her son trains with him. And I was talking to her about it, and I was telling her, yeah, like I really want to get started on this, but I'm just having a difficult time finding a coach out here. Like I don't really know anyone. And she started talking to me about about him, she's like, yeah, he just did these shows with this guy. You should reach out. So that's what I did. I reached out and I looked on his Instagram profile and I loved all the pictures that I saw. And I'm like, yep, I think this is going to be a good fit. And then when we met, I was like, yep, this is a good fit.
Nice.
So how did you get started, Diana, on your fitness journey?
Well, I've always kind of liked fitness. I was in sports when I was younger. And then there was a period of time where I used to go to this park and I used to go to neighborhoods and hand out flyers to like do group trainings. And there was a park nearby. So like I've always liked that. And then when I got to college, some of my friends competed and I was like, I would never do that. Like that, I could not have the discipline. Like I could not just eat chicken and rice. Like that could never be me. And then later on, I think, yeah, after the pandemic, I just reached a very low point where I was like, I need to change my habits now. And not because I was eating bad, but I wasn't getting closer to the person I wanted to be. I was just getting like,
further away.
I was just being, right? I wasn't really like having an impact on my life or like, and I don't want to sound like it's depressing or anything. It was just like in the fitness side. My workouts, I would go in and I would get exhausted, but they had no purpose. So that's why I wasn't seeing changes.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to do something. Why am I not seeing a transformation? So I was like, okay, I have to do this. And then I reached out, I posted on Instagram, like, oh, you know, where can I find a coach that does this? And when they mentioned Bo, I messaged Bo and then I met him and then I haven't looked back. Better than a plastic surgeon.
Seriously, people, how did you stay disciplined throughout your training for your competition?
I think in the beginning, it was really easy for me to stay motivated like the first few months because I was bigger than I had ever been. And I was just so desperate to get the weight off that there was like nothing holding me back. And then there was a point where I was like seeing the weight come off and I would like test my boundaries with food and the weight was still coming off. So I like kind of went a little bit more lenient. And then as I saw that competition was like, oh, this many weeks away, and I would write it on the board, 14 weeks, 13 weeks, 10 weeks. And I was like, I need to look this way on stage and I have this many weeks to go. Like, it was just like, I kind of scared myself into it, you know? Or like when I was in the shower, I would be like, bitch, you're getting on that stage, no matter what it takes. So like if I wouldn't do my cardio in the morning and it was like 8 at night, I would just think about like looking off on stage and that would just get me to go because I didn't want to look stupid on stage. That was my biggest fear. You can't. The lighting is there, the tent is there, there's nothing to hide. And I think that was like the fire that I was like, I can't, everybody can't look great and then there's me all soft, you know? So that's what would keep me going. It wasn't super strict because like you mentioned, I did macros, right? You know, so every now and then, like when I would go out to dinner with friends or something, I would kind of try and like move my day around.
You would post some food pics, and I'd be like, "How do you fit boba in your macros?" And you're like, not close to competition. Like now,
yes. So it just depends. Like I learned so much from like different things that you can push. I guess like for this competition that I'm going to now, like things that you can do closer, like 16 weeks out that you cannot do 2 weeks out. Like you learn that too, you know, like there are certain foods that you can get away with eating at 8 weeks out, but definitely not the week of, you know, stuff like that. So
things that you learned now that you didn't know then before starting.
That the discipline in the gym can really translate to discipline in your life. Like when I was coming in here and like getting my workout in, I would go home, I would meditate, I would walk my dog, I get my, like it helped me balance out my life at home that I just became a better person from it. And I was just coming in here for a like aesthetic transformation and it transformed me in so many more ways. Like it helped with my healing. That's why I always put like morning therapy or evening like it became my therapy, you know? And
it's like you're normal now. Like
yes.
It's just part of your life.
It's my identity.
Yeah.
And going into it, it was like literally just because I was so tired of being a weight that I didn't want.
Right. And what is some advice that you would give to people watching that are afraid or have hesitation, whether it is making those healthy food changes or stepping into the gym?
There's two advice I would give. If you are trying to compete, your mentality is going to be very different than someone that's trying to lose weight. If you are trying to compete, you cannot have the mentality of like, oh, well, today I don't want to do my cardio. Like, it's okay, balance. That is okay for a person that's just trying to lose weight. When you're trying to get on stage and you have that goal, you get your ass up and you do your cardio. Like you have to, and the reason why I'm saying this isn't a scare tactic, but your discipline and your motivation is going to be different because you have a set deadline versus someone else is just trying to get into the gym and to lose weight. You don't have to think like that. Like you can work your way up to 3 days, 4 days of cardio. If you're competing and your coach says 5 days, there's a reason why. Like there's a method to it, so you have to do it. So you can see if it's for you. You know, like you can try it out, and you as you work out do it more and more, your discipline builds. You'll decide that you want to compete, or you'll decide that you just like to train like a competitor. But it definitely is two different mindsets.
There's some girls in the gym when we were training, they weren't.
Yes.
But then they changed their mind.
As they saw us training for competition, they wanted to compete.
Yeah.
Yes. It just rubs on. Like when you see the transformation, not just like like genuinely, you know, it's not just a physical one. Like even your confidence goes up. And like when you see that, like how do you not want to compete? You know, because you're like, what's the best version I can be?
You see those changes, like you were saying, it's just like, wow, like you can literally transform not only your physical, but your perspective on everything. Like life in general. Like it helps you, I think it helps you like make better choices for yourself. Not so much being selfish, but like thinking what is best for you. Like I think that it has helped me to like really try to like organize my life. I mean, it's still a little bit chaotic, but I'm working on that, you know, and I think this is like a huge, like now it is definitely a huge part of my life. And I don't see my life without competing. Like right now, that's like a huge goal in my life. Like that's what I see myself doing.
Yeah, and that's a great point because you see yourself doing that versus for me, it's a hobby. That's another thing. Like if you are like, oh, I don't want to be the person that just does it like that one time. Like I don't want to keep going. So why start? Sometimes you are that person that just does it the one time. It's like maybe you're like me, you do it as a hobby because it helps you stay in shape, or maybe you're like Bianca who like wants to reach the top, which
all start that way.
No, how did you start?
Remember, I would come and I was like, yeah, I just want to do one and done. I'm gonna turn 30. I just want to have like the best body that I've ever had at 30. I'm gonna do one show and I'm gonna say, yeah, I did it. No, I was very wrong. Even before I had done my first show, I already knew like I'm gonna keep doing this.
What switched for you?
I just think that like I can be like really good in the sport. Like I just feel really confident. Like I feel good when I come and I work out. I feel that I'm very disciplined. I'm just very determined and I'm disciplined, and I think that I could just do a good job and it makes me feel good. I don't know.
You walk into like the best version of you. You know, like when you're in the gym, like nothing matters. You're just improving yourself. So I guess for you, it's like, I just want to keep going because I get to see the best version of me every single time.
I feel like I've always kind of been pretty mentally strong, but like working out every day, like lifting weights, having a routine,
watching what you're eating.
Yeah, just like showing up for myself and like knowing that, you know, I am doing this for me and I am not going to let myself down. Like I have to do this. I have a show this day, these many weeks. Like I have to do this for myself. I'm like committing to myself. That's what it is. Like commitment to myself to be better. Now it's like a passion.
It's your identity. Yeah. It's a part of who you are now. And it's funny because I was the opposite. Like I wanted to do it to lose weight, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna be the best of the best. And then I was like, yeah, maybe it's just a hobby for me. Like how it fits into your life, you know.
And that might change too. She might change her mind in a couple of years.
Yes, it changed my mind every minute. So what do you want our audience to get from our podcast, and like why they should continue watching us?
I think that they're gonna learn a lot of good, healthy tips or advice, and I think it would definitely motivate a lot of people who might be scared to step foot into a gym, to pick up a weight. They don't want people to stare at them, that they don't know what they're doing or like look crazy in the gym. I think the first step is just like going. Like you just have to get started no matter what, because you're gonna learn throughout your process. Like I'm definitely still learning now.
Same. Even every workouts, I'm like, am I curling it right?
Yes, every day. Like it's always gonna be a work in progress. And before, when I started training with my coach, I thought that my form was good. I'm like, yeah my squats they're good. Like, you know, heck no. they were not good. My form was not good. Even now, sometimes like he still checks my form. Like
Yeah.
I have sometimes I go back into like the old habit, and like he checks me on that. So I'm still learning every single day. All right, so thank you guys for listening. Our next episode, we're actually going to be interviewing our coach, Bo. So if you guys have any questions or anything that you would like to know more information about, go ahead and shoot us the questions, and we're going to ask him next time.
See you on our next podcast.
Bye.